Hello, and welcome to episode 6 of PodClass President. I am your host, Ben Brainerd. If you've been here before, thank you so much for tuning back. Welcome back. If this is your first time, PodClass President is a storytelling, it's a school-centric storytelling podcast hosted by comedian Ben Brainerd. Every week, I invite a couple friends into the studio to have them share their weirdest, wildest, wackiest, silliest stories from their time spent in school or training or class or any formal learning environment. I have a lot of fun doing it, and I hope you have a lot of fun listening. Before we jump into the episode today, I'm on tour, so if you want to come see me, you have your opportunity. I'll be touring Florida in December. Coming up, I'll be in Panama City Beach at the Captain Anderson's Event Center. That show is already sold out. I have 2 shows on December 15th in Daytona Beach, Florida at the Cinematique. On December 20th, I'll be in Jacksonville at the Comedy Zone. And then December 22nd and 23rd, the weekend before Christmas, I'll be in Orlando at the Orlando Improv. There are 3 shows for that spot, so make sure you check those out. And then I don't have any shows in January, but in February, I'll be heading up to Texas and Oklahoma. I'll be in Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, OKC, and Tulsa. So make sure you sign up for my email list so you don't miss a show when I'm in your area. I think that's all that I really have to say about that. So without further ado, let's hop in the studio and meet our guest for the week. Today, I have with me, she's an actor, a writer, a creator, and the voice behind Toph Beifong, and also turtle number 3 from Finding Nemo, Michaela Murphy.
What's up, guys?
And with her on the couch, he's a filmmaker and a content creator that's amassed over 1.5 million followers across all platforms, Danny Motta.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thanks for being on the show, guys. As you know, I do always like to start with a segment I like to call, do you know who my mascot is? In which I'm going to ask you your high school mascot and whether or not you think it could beat my high school mascot in a fight and how you think it would go about doing it. So we're going to start with this. Michaela, what was your high school mascot?
My high school mascot was a griffin.
A griffin?
A griffin. So, which I think is it an eagle?
Eagle lion?
An eagle lion, I believe.
Yeah.
Do
you think a griffin could beat a sand crab?
Like a regular sand crab?
Also known as a sand flea.
You started this by saying you're 10-0.
No, I'm 0-10.
Oh, you're 0-10.
0-10.
Yeah.
I wildly misjudged the score.
Yeah, they don't bite or
I was
pinch.
expecting like a color maybe, but
the blues. I don't
I'm gonna go with a resounding yes.
Yeah.
Because I always imagined, like Harry Potter was coming out while I was in high school. So I felt like the griffin was kind of similar to a hippogriff, and they're very aggressive.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same thing.
Right?
Yeah.
So
I think yours would kill it on accident.
Yeah. They would be walking into like, okay, we're here to fight.
And there'd
then
be a
just
very soft crunch.
soft, gentle, wouldn't even notice. Yeah.
Okay, Danny, what was your high school mascot?
Well, when you told us we would have to talk about our high school mascots, we looked at each other and I thought it was for the same reason, and it was not, because we were I grew up in a town called Guilford, and we were the Guilford Indians.
Oh.
And now we're the Guilford capital letter G's. So
the G's.
Yeah, just a big letter G.
There's some
for
hope
obvious
for you right
reasons.
now.
What is the mascot, though?
Just a big G with a feather in it.
With a feather in it.
Oh, so they didn't really change it.
They just took the name away.
Yeah.
They just took most aspects and the name away.
But they kept the feather.
And they kept the feather. To please nobody.
Arguably, the part they shouldn't have kept.
Yeah, that should be gone.
Yeah.
So it was a weird transitional period. I think there's something different now, but we were the Guilford Indians until I was in junior year.
And they changed it while you were there.
Yeah.
You
And
were
then
there for
senior year of
Revolution.
high school, we were the Guilford capital letter G's, which was very confusing.
With a feather
and
as a
not
weapon.
intimidating.
Okay, so
So I think you win.
we'll say the Indian could beat the sand crab. Either one you think of. Either a person from India or the person we thought was from India when we originally thought this place was India.
It was for sure, just to clarify, it was for sure a Native American.
Yeah.
Was the mascot.
Yeah, absolutely. I went to elementary school. It was the Osceola Indians. We were strong and brave and true.
A lot. There's so many. I didn't know
Well,
how
they
many
also-
mascots were Indians until I started talking to a lot of people. And it's like, what?
I mean, you name it after who lived here.
I guess so.
Right. You name it after what you
You
saw
just had
around.
a sand crab infestation?
Yeah,
I
like
went to
Griffins
Seabreeze
are
High
in
School
Sherman Oaks.
in Daytona Beach. I was across the street from the Atlantic Ocean.
Well, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that'll do it.
Yeah.
I don't know where mine came from. Because we're in Hollywood, so everybody's just dreaming big. So they're like, yeah,
Gryffindor.
sure.
I think you beat the G, though. I think you can go
it would probably
1
be
and
a
11
tie.
now.
It'd probably be a tie. 'Cause
tie?
the sand crab is a filter feeder. It doesn't pinch or bite. I don't
like
think it
that
could
you know.
actually fight the letter G.
Yeah, I guess there's
I
like
like
no
that you have like,
attack method.
facts.
Unless if it was a lamp, maybe I could try, but that's only if it's like the letter I.
Maybe.
So I'm gonna go 0, 11, and 1.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
We tied?
Yeah.
Nice.
We're tied.
Yeah. The G is a
First
pacifist.
That's the
Tie.
closest we're getting, Seabreeze. Okay, we're taking it.
You don't know that.
I'm pretty sure I know that. Yeah. So we'll get into story time now.
Mhm.
This is the meat and potatoes of the podcast, my favorite time of the day, story time. Michaela, you told me the only piece of context before the story was that you were Avril Lavigne in 7th grade.
Yeah, so 7th grade was when I started a new school.
Okay,
And,
where was this new school
It's
at?
the Buckley School in Sherman Oaks. Actually, I went and picked
Oh,
up
do you
my
have merch?
senior letter yesterday.
Oh,
From
what?
they save your senior letters from 2013 and then give them back to you 10 years later. And then
In middle school?
and then I got this amazing alumni shirt. Shout out to my high school. Anyway,
Wow.
so this is the Griffin. This is the Griffin, and this is my high school. Anyway, so yes,
There's a lot of parts here. We need to pause for a second. Okay. So hold on. You went to a new school in 7th grade
yes,
called Buckley Academy,
the Buckley School.
the Buckley School. Does that shirt, this is alumni, not
Yes,
academy. Okay.
yes,
So you went to the Buckley School in Sherman Oaks
I
in
did
7th
indeed.
grade.
Yes,
And you picked this shirt today,
yesterday.
yesterday.
Yes. Anyway, and it
Oh,
brought
wait,
back
I have more
memories.
questions.
Oh, I have answers. Okay, I have answers.
Why?
Why what?
Why did you pick that up yet? Because is it because you were being on this?
No, it's
this is
because-
completely
Yes.
not even related.
Not even, well, yeah, it just happened to work out. And then the story that came to mind happened to be while I was at school. Anyway, they have
I
you
still
write
need to know
letters
why.
freshman and senior year.
Freshman is so that's
They have you write letters
Okay.
to like your future self.
Right, yeah.
wait, what is freshman and senior to you?
What do you mean? 9th and 12th
school.
grade?
9th and
High school.
12th.
Yeah,
Okay. Because
yeah.
you said you went in 7th.
I did.
So so this part of the
all
story is not okay.
Correct.
So this part of
Separate.
the story is about why you have a t-shirt right now.
Correct.
All
That's
right, so
this is just answering why this is here today.
got it. I'm less confused now.
Rattled him.
I really did. He was like, wait.
There was a
What's going
curveball
on?
and I was
Yeah.
expecting a fastball. That's what
No,
happened.
I did this because I kind of wanted to show the Griffin, and then I got it yesterday and was talking about the school. So I figured I should just bring it and
Okay.
show and tell.
So you wrote a letter to your older self in freshman year and senior year.
Yeah, and I missed the reunion this year because I was traveling,
Right.
and then finally picked it up yesterday, and they gave me this alumni T-shirt, which was very exciting. But all of this aside, that's the reason why we have the T-shirt.
Okay. That's
Then
a
I
little bit less
started.
of an exciting story than I was hoping for.
Yeah, no, absolutely not exciting. But when I started in 7th grade, I had just come from being like homeschooled a lot, working on Avatar. Like I was just busy being an actor kid.
Right.
And I had a crush on this boy named Eddie Mole. What's up? If you're out there.
Wow, full name.
Full name.
If you're out there, Eddie,
Listen.
slide in the
Yeah.
DMs.
If you
he still has a
remember-
crush on you. She talks about you
Yeah, that was
all
a
the
real
time.
shooting of your shot there.
I feel like I always remember last names of like everybody that was important to me, like best friends,
Wow,
crushes.
wow. Warned you.
Important.
Eddie.
Did you guys end up dating?
No.
Or was it just a healthy crush?
So he kind of, I think he was like dating somebody else and then he wasn't, whatever. Regardless of if he had a girlfriend fully this entire
I feel
time
like
or
you're about
not.
to pull out a calendar of just like on this date, Eddie went on an ice cream date with Melissa Cavender.
Cavender. So I took the bus to school, which was very exciting because I wasn't used to like going to school and like taking the bus.
Because up to this point, going to school was just walking downstairs.
Yes, correct.
Got it.
Or going into a strange room on set and like playing Rush Hour instead of actually doing schoolwork. That will be an industry
Playing
joke.
Rush Hour? Like
like
just sitting in traffic?
Or, no, like there's a
game.
little game. It's a specific actor insight. If you were like a child actor in like the early 2000s, there were like 3 games that like set teachers always had, and Rush Hour was always in there. And it was just a bunch of cars. You set them up a certain way, and then you had to like solve.
Oh, so it was a puzzle
game rules.
Yes, it's
was
like
Chris
it's like
Tucker in it?
Rubik's Cube. Unfortunately,
He
not.
created it.
But yeah, there you
Now
go.
I don't know what
There
to
you
believe.
go. So I was very excited to go on this bus to school every day. And I really wanted Eddie Mo to like me, but I did not know how to talk to people, let alone boys, really. So I just listened to Girlfriend by Avril Lavigne on repeat every morning on my way to school.
Was Eddie on your bus?
I sometimes, but usually not. Because like sometimes people would take the bus if their parents were like busy that morning
Okay,
and couldn't
got it.
take them, you know what I mean?
Sure.
But usually it was just me sitting next to my
You
friend
and
Gabriella.
empty bus.
Full of other students.
Just blasting Girlfriend.
on more show and tell. Are we ready? On
God.
this
Whoa!
this iPod Nano in these headphones,
The same one.
the same
That
ones.
was a
I saved
wild
it.
Pull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I brought receipts.
Does it still have Girlfriend on it?
You know, I didn't
Does
have
the-
time to charge it and check.
Let me see that
but
for
it
a second.
does. It does. Here you go. Remember
We
the
gotta,
times?
we gotta see if we can find a way to charge this.
You literally pulled that out of thin air. I've been sitting next to you for the past like 15 minutes. That came out of nowhere.
I got a hat box full of random chords. I'm sure I could pull something for
yeah.
this.
Yeah. So that
Fantastic.
that was the beautiful device where I listened to at least twice, sometimes 3
Every
or 4
day.
times. Yeah, every day.
Girlfriend by Avril
Girlfriend.
Lavigne.
You know, hell yeah, I'm the motherfucking princess, and I can tell you like me too, and I know I'm right.
Okay, so
You sound a lot like her.
Hey, you.
I just want to say, like, I met you fairly recently.
Yeah.
Of what I know about you now, I'm going to go ahead and say I think Girlfriend has still permeated a big chunk of who you are as a person now.
See, that's what I'm saying. I feel like she really, influenced me in my brain.
What year did we all think that Avril Lavigne disappeared and got replaced?
It was somewhere in
Around the
high
same
school, 'cause
time?
that was
'Cause I've never
2007.
seen the two of you in the same room together.
And you sound dangerously alike.
Yeah, surprise, guys. That's the reveal of the day.
Whoa, Avril
it's me.
Lavigne voiced Toph Beifong.
Wow, that would be, actually that wouldn't be the most surprising thing. That actually kind of would
The line
track a little. But yes, this is not the end of the story, actually.
It feels like it's just the beginning.
Yeah.
There's a lot of players that play here, and Chris Tucker might
Yeah.
come in at some point.
What was your crush's name again?
Eddie.
The story ends when Eddie reaches out. Finally.
Yeah, we don't
Finally
end
closes
this
this loop.
podcast
We're here.
episode
You know
until
where I'm at.
Eddie walks through that door.
And 26, years later.
So you're in 7th grade. You're on the
Yes.
bus. You're listening to Girlfriend
Yes.
on repeat with your one friend. It's
Yes.
just the two of you on an empty bus.
Yep.
You have a crush on Eddie Mole. It's a new school.
Yeah. And, one of the, it's 7th grade. She's not like actively a mean person, but she takes information and runs with it. One of those gals.
A friend of yours or just a school bully?
Yeah, but like bully is harsh for 7th grade because she wasn't like really, but light
Give me
bully.
Rita
light
Skeeter
bully.
vibes.
A little bit.
Takes the information, writes a story about
Takes
it.
the information in the hallway, one day is just like, hey, you should ask Eddie out. And I was like, no, I'm good. I'm fine.
So word had gotten out.
Yeah, because,
that you had
I
a
thought
crush on-
we were friends and like I could just be like, yeah, I have a crush on this guy, whatever. And like
Yeah,
it would
you
be.
can't be friends with girl who talks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't. I was learning. Okay. I was used to being on set. Anyway,
I get
so.
it. I understand.
it was-
Usually there's just a script and then nobody else and you just
Yeah,
talk.
and then I just go home and talk to no one. Only child, single mother, nobody is around me. Anyway, so it was lunch period, and she had the grand idea for me to go ask him right then. She's like, no, you should ask him out. Right now.
Right.
Takes my hand, drags me to the lunch area, finds him at the table, plops me in front of the table, and is
This
like,
is some like
hey, Eddie, Michaela has a question for you, and then stands back
Oh.
and stares at me.
Oh, the tag team.
No.
And there's multiple people. It's not just him. There's
Yeah,
a
no,
whole
could
people. Yeah.
Be weird if it was just Eddie, like if he was back on the school bus and it was just him or something.
Yeah,
I
she
don't
was
know.
just like, excuse me, Michaela and Eddie need a word together. Everybody step
Everybody
out.
clear out. Yeah, she clears the lunchroom. She's just, and then she's just like looking through the door just to
Yeah,
see
just
what's going.
peering.
This is like a move that somebody who has extra information that you don't. This is a dramatic irony play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thankfully, it could have gone, very, very dramatically, but instead it was just like softcore dramatically. I was like, Eddie, would you like to go out with me? And he like took an awkward pause, but in the nicest way possible. It was just like, no, thank you.
Oh,
What a sweet guy.
Edward.
No.
Look what you've lost.
I have a crush on Eddie now too.
Wow.
And so then
was
I
he
was
also 7th grade? Was
yeah,
okay.
we were same
No,
grade.
he was a teacher. What do you mean?
I mean, he could have been like 6th or 8th. I don't
was
know.
the
He could have been.
janitor.
No, it was.
He
it
could have
was
been like
same
a
grade.
slightly older guy that was
Gotcha.
like, I know how to handle this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
very kind.
And I think I just went like, okay, and then just walked away. And I was just, I was very
Heartbroken.
embarrassed and bummed because once you ask the question and you get the answer, the
should've
pining
sang it
kind
to
of
him.
commences.
You should have walked up and you should have been like, hey,
Yeah.
You. I don't like your girlfriend. You don't have one, but I could be it. And
Yeah.
just change the.
It's like a poster for prom, but it has way too many words on it.
Yeah. It's the whole song on it.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was a fun little walk down memory lane, and when I thought of that, I was like, wait, I have the iPod, and I have a picture from me on the bus, and I think these are in my ears, if I'm remembering correctly. If so, I'm gonna
Be
share
weird
it.
if they
share it
weren't
here.
different.
What
And-
color was your hair? Because I'm imagining like vibrant purple.
Okay, so first of all,
Did
the
you-
Buckley School is a private school. It's a private institution, so there's no
Oh,
colorful
yeah.
hair. No.
So you couldn't emulate
No.
Avril Lavigne.
Well-
you could just have her playing in your head all day, every day. Oh.
On free dress days, I wore my knee-high white Converse and put scarves in my hair so I would have extra long like hair that I
Right.
would whip around when I did
Middle school
cartwheels
extensions.
through the hallway to get
Did
to
you?
classes. Oh, I did. No, and Eddie, why on earth did you not want to date me? I mean,
Wow.
I was a gem.
She had scarf extensions.
She wasn't like
knee-
other girls.
Really though. Really.
She could have been your girlfriend.
So yeah, there you go. A little insight into me just existing as a strange adolescent version of Avril Lavigne.
Do you
in 7th
think
grade.
that interaction with Eddie Mole changed anything about? Was this like a turning point in your life?
I think it was just a continuation of disappointment. There's been
It's all downhill from
there's
there.
been a track record. No, I think I've
She
always
met real
been,
rush hour and just got stuck for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
I've always been very animated and very transparent. And very transparent with how I feel about people and things. And
Right.
when you're younger, typically that comes on a little too strong with
Sure.
like romantic scenarios. So
yeah,
like,
you don't know how to mask yet.
yeah, and so like guys would be running away from me chasing them in elementary school. And Eddie would tell me no, and there were multiple little jokes, like this one kid put a rose on my locker during Valentine's Day as a joke, and then like all of his friends like laughed at me like because they knew I had a crush on him. So there's just been like a lot of like not reciprocation of my affection.
That was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's
at least
so
you got a
sad.
rose, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, they didn't get a rose. They
No.
just got a joke that
Yeah, I mean,
they
I'm
probably won't laugh at in 10
stage
years.
name is Jessie Flower. Like I get the flowers,
And
but
roses
just
are expensive.
not the
especially for a
feelings.
middle schooler.
Well, it was probably like that Valentine's Day thing.
not at the
They, like,
Buckley School. The
Not-
Buckley School
Oh.
children
Don't
can
touch
afford the
Buckley
roses.
School.
No, the
Don't
Buckley
touch the Buckley
Gorsons.
School.
Indubitably. Them roses be cheap at the Buckley School
Wow.
in it. I don't know what I'm doing.
We got fancy, and then I don't know.
I like how you like scoffed at me being like flowers are expensive, and you're like, no, if you go to Buckley and
No,
start an
some kid.
Avatar.
I was
That's
selling
just pocket
cookies.
change to us. Roses.
I was selling cookies. No, to be fair, I was a financial aid kid, first of all. So I was just like impressed that like people would come to cookie and bake sales and like pay with $100 bills. And I was like,
God.
who are you? What is happening? You're 11. Like,
I'd say no. We don't accept
going
bills
on?
over 5.
and then he was like, oh, just keep it. That happened once. He like bought 2 cookies and was like, I don't want the carry to change.
God. I like
So what? You kept $98 in change?
at like age 10, I would just be like, I don't accept bills I can't comprehend. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have a concept.
When I
of
was in high
$100.
school,
Yeah.
I walked to the convenience store at the corner, bought a case of cookies for $6, and sold each one for $1 a piece, so I get a $6 profit.
There you go.
You're out here selling 2 cookies for a $98. The markup at Buckley.
But
Yeah.
it was for charity. So
Were you charity?
No, I was helping, and I donated the 98.
Charity.
I donated the full 98 to charity. I didn't keep any of it for myself. So
Wow, look at you.
I know.
We had the same thought because I was going to be like, I wonder how much money is embezzled by like 10-year-olds.
Oh, a lot.
yearly.
A lot.
but-
Can you blame them for it?
No, it's not intentional either. I feel like it's just like a neutral.
Yeah, you don't have
Harmless
concept of
embezzlement.
money.
to the fullest
Yeah, it's
extent
fine.
of the law.
It's
Yes,
it's-
prison
Yeah, prison.
for the
Absolutely.
10-year-olds.
You embezzle at 10, you'll embezzle at 70. That's what I always
That's
say.
yep. I've heard that before.
Yeah.
I've heard that before.
I haven't. So wow,
Crazy.
something new every day.
I have a follow-up question for you.
Okay.
Have you kept up with Eddie at all? Like, do you follow him on anything?
No, somewhere around sophomore year, I think he transferred to Notre Dame. A different high school in the Valley because he was a
Okay.
baseball player and then he wanted to like focus on sports, I think.
Right.
then
So he transferred to Notre Dame, the high school.
the high school, and then I think we might still be friends on Facebook because that was starting back then.
Right.
But I don't even know if we were actually friends on Facebook. I can't recall because I wasn't cool. So
Well, now's the
Yeah,
chance.
Now's the time.
Eddie,
Strike while the iron's hot.
Hi.
you're still out there. Send a DM to Michaela Jill Murphy.
for if anything else, just to complete the circle. Like now I'm going to be curious.
Yeah,
Now
I gotta get a picture of Eddie for this episode.
we gotta get a response.
Get a picture of Eddie like through some bushes. Like he's clearly not looking. Like I can't wait for you to
Yeah.
reach out to him and be like, hey, like talked about you on this podcast. Hope that's cool.
Are you
And
scarred from 7th grade? Probably not.
I think
Yeah.
we all are a little
in
bit.
different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just can't wait for his reply to be like, I have been waiting 10 years for this moment.
I'm
He's
gonna
like,
go
I
with
just
the
couldn't
nah.
do it in front of my bros.
I'm
You
gonna
know, I was.
Yeah. It's okay. I had my, summer I turned pretty moment when I came into junior year. It was like after sophomore year.
And he had left.
That summer, and he was gone.
Yeah.
I walked into a party. It was one of those weird moments where you like enter a space with like all your peers, and then like everybody kind of looked at me a little differently, and I was
Yeah.
like, "What is everyone looking at?" And then like 7 years later, I was like, "Oh, that's what happened."
Wow.
Eddie, she's hot now, dude. She had her summer or whatever.
Or summer or whatever.
That'd be really silly if Eddie just like had a wife and 3 kids and was just happy.
It's likely. I'm
And then he
29.
And this gets sent to him, and there's just like the amount of times his name is said in this. It gets brought up at
He's
school.
like, who is this?
It gets brought up at
I don't know
work.
who this person is. That is probably the most accurate response. Like, I have no idea. who this
Children
person
would probably know.
They're probably watching Avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh my God.
Stay alive.
I'm fine. Thank you for sharing that story of love and loss and Avril
welcome.
Lavigne.
I was on the edge of my seat, like right when we were about to find out his answer. I was like gripped here.
Yeah. Yeah. Good times.
Danny, we're gonna hop over to you.
Yeah, hop on over.
You gave me very little for this story,
I-
other than
I panicked.
you gave me one word.
Yeah.
It's misunderstanding.
Well, it was like when someone's like,
Scope.
hey, name any actor. And you're like, I can't.
Margot Robbie.
Like,
Jeff Goldblum.
Good
Okay.
job.
Thanks.
never mind. I'm the
Dinosaurs.
idiot then, it turns out.
There's always one,
But
unless there's more.
not bad.
Thank you so much.
Solid.
Pretty good saying.
Thank you so much.
Phenomenal.
In my like sophomore year of college, I just transferred from a college I didn't like at all, and I was commuting and had no friends and blah
Okay.
blah blah.
Mm.
First real college experience. I'm dorming
Sure. Are you comfortable saying the name of the college?
Ithaca. In
Ithaca.
New York. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So your new transfer in Ithaca. This is your sophomore college year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like seeing this girl. It's like the first girl I've seen like since my big high school breakup.
Mhm.
And I'm like,
All been there.
Jessica Cavender.
we're like laying in bed together, and out of nowhere, she's like,
Danny.
yeah. Well, that's why I asked if this could be a rated R show before we start.
Out of
They were
nowhere.
laying in bed. What's wrong with naps and cuddles?
No, I didn't say that was wrong. I was like, you dog, Danny. Yeah. But then she rolls over to you and says, hey, you.
Yeah.
I don't like
your girlfriend.
Yeah.
I don't like being your girlfriend.
This has to end. Then she hands me her iPod, and she was like,
A Nano?
Yeah. iPod Nano. Yeah. pink.
Why?
It was this one.
Yeah. That's why we're on the podcast together.
Oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
good
we're just like laying there, and she's like, has anyone ever told you kind of have a lisp? And I was like,
Oh, rough.
hey, I'm the one who would know that the most.
Yeah.
Asshole.
What if you were just like, no, oh my God, is it bad?
Yeah, like
Yeah, you should have just played into it.
I know, just be like, no, what do you mean? Like, imagine like hang out with someone and being like, hey, has anyone told you you're missing an arm? Like, yeah, they've noticed.
Well, I mean, I get you're short. That's just, people say that
Straight
to
up,
me.
full sentence.
Yeah, that's the
On
full,
the
yeah.
street.
Hey, you're short. And I got to be
Wow.
like, I'm however tall I am.
You're like,
And you are however tall you are. These are just things.
That's tough.
But every so often, I'll be like, I am?
Yeah.
What? This is the first I've heard about this.
Or if you really want to be generous, you turn around and you're like, no, you're tall.
I don't want to
Ooh.
be generous, though.
Yeah, that's fair. If someone's just walking up to you
Yeah.
like, hey, you're short and I don't like that.
Nobody ever looks at you and says, you're short because they have like
Kindly.
pleasant
Right.
things to
Well,
follow up with.
you don't know that yet.
That was such a loaded response. What is
I mean, I'm going to be on the lookout now. This is like a dramatic irony moment.
Yeah.
Michaela knows something that I don't.
Yeah.
And I'm about to run into somebody on the sidewalk later today.
just whip around and be like, why'd you say that though? Like, what were your intentions?
What if and they follow with, we have a competitive leapfrog league.
Yeah. I'm the head water polo coach over at the Y.
Oh, no, short people do not do water polo.
No?
No.
Really? Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah.
You have to tread water.
I also don't float. I have nothing to float.
I have nothing.
I don't float
Ruined.
good.
You
Like
know,
if I were in the ocean, it would just be my face and the rest of my body would just.
the sand crab, sand rats,
I dig.
whatever they're called. They
I
just,
dig.
You dig. You just go under.
Okay,
Back
back
to
to you, Danny. She looks at you and says, "Hey, did you know that you have this thing that you've probably had your whole life?"
Yeah. And I'm like, what? That's crazy. And then I go back to my dorm and I look up how to say S's properly, like on YouTube.
Okay, so was it worse than it is now? Because it's
No.
noticeable, but it's not like a thing. I
I've
wouldn't
made no
comment about it.
improvement. And
None.
here's why.
So this is just what you sounded like.
yes.
Okay.
That's not
Yeah, I mean,
hardly anything to like bring up while laying in bed with you.
She said it like as it. Oh, what, Michaela?
Oh,
no. I was like, was she? It could have been how she said it. Did she say it like with a bit of a sting? Was she, what?
It was like definitely one of those things where she was like, let's get real. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like she thought
Yeah.
it was like endearing. Like
Okay.
I'm seeing.
A moment of connection.
And
yeah, I'm seeing the real you.
Yeah, and it could have been like this thing where she thought about asking, but then there was like that first question. Like, what if she just went for the, does it ever bother you that you have a lisp? And you're like, I don't have a lisp. And now she's like, I should have gone.
Yeah.
Did you
poke
know
around,
that you
yeah.
have a lisp?
Just trying to get the info. But so I'm back
Yeah.
in my dorm and I'm in a triple. So it's like me and two other guys.
Mhm.
And I have this YouTube video up like with earbuds in on like someone teaching me how to say S's more
Right.
properly. And I'm like, well, I got to practice this and I can't do it in here. I'm going to go into the bathroom. And so I go to the bathroom, which is like a dorm bathroom, like multiple people can go in.
Yeah.
And I go in and I like run to the mirror and I'm like looking at my mouth and looking at myself and I'm going, soon. Soon. And then I go, and then I'm like,
Oh boy.
and I'm like,
boy.
I'm saying soon too much. I gotta break it up.
No normal amount of times to say just soon.
Well,
You
soon.
can't. None of this. Even if you had just said it once, you ran into your dorm bathroom, looked at yourself in the mirror, I'm assuming, with a lot of focus in your eyes, and just went soon.
Well, so I'm like,
It'd be weirder if you just stopped at that one.
it gets worse because then I'm like, I gotta break it up for like my own education, you know?
Right. You got to do a few soons.
Yeah.
And then a
And
little
so- and
bit,
then
you
a
got to do
monsoon.
another. Yeah.
Well, and so then I go soon, very, very soon.
No.
and then,
Danny.
and then
Stop.
very, very. No
And then
S's
just
in
walked
there.
out
Yeah.
like nothing happened.
well, then I heard a shoe squeak
Oh boy.
in
Oh,
the
you said
stall.
squeak good. That was, yeah.
Thanks. Thanks, man. I've been practicing right
Yeah,
now on your
saying
podcast.
soon in the mirror over and over until something happened.
Yeah, every night I hear a shoe squeak and I like turn to look and I see 2 feet in the stall like raise up and like hide. And so,
Real quick. Okay,
Yeah.
so you have 3 people in your dorm.
Yeah.
But this was a community bathroom.
Yeah.
This
So
is
it was
like
like
in the
the
hallway.
whole hallway used this one.
yes, this was like not one of my roommates. This was a stranger.
Okay, good.
And he
they
couldn't
just-
see like
they
the
ju-
direction you were facing.
They just hear
Just a guy
soon.
minding his own business.
Very, very soon.
Just the
I'm
guy who made the
terrified at
mistake
that
of
point.
going to college with me. Like,
Well, he didn't. You came to his
yeah.
college.
Yeah, that's true. I was
You
transferred.
just the new kid
Yeah.
walked into the community bathroom while I was taking a shit, stood there alone and went, soon, soon, very, very soon.
Why the very? Those don't have S's.
That's
Well,
why.
he had to break
so,
it up.
Yeah, so I could break it up.
He had to
so
let it
wasn't-
simmer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay,
then,
see.
so I hear the shoes squeak, and in my panic, I'm like, oh,
Your panic or his panic?
in everyone's panic.
The room is
like,
panicked.
as I hear 911 being called,
There's a disco and everyone in it is panicked right now.
I am like, oh, maybe if I say another S word, he will know I'm just practicing my S's.
Yep.
So then I go,
Yep.
smooth.
No.
No.
And I do one more smooth, and then I leave.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Okay, I really want to cut to the guy in the stall. That's a scene, and I want to just be in there listening to that.
Oh my God. Because it's first of all, it's a threat.
Yeah.
It's soon, very, very
Very
soon.
Smooth.
And then it's smooth.
Yeah.
I don't know what to if I'm there, I don't know what to, I'm like, but the first thing I think I could think of is that you were just practicing a monologue and you were happy with how it went. And so you went smooth. That was
Thanks.
smooth.
A monologue?
I don't know.
That's generous.
I appreciate
we
the
don't
benefit
know.
of the doubt. Look, he doesn't know what's happening. All he knows is it's happening soon and it's gonna
The
be
very,
smooth.
very
The
soon.
lifted feet is what gets
So then I'm back in the dorm and I forget about it like shockingly quick.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Did you ever find out who this person was?
Yes.
Oh,
So
Does this come up later?
it was the girlfriend.
Yes.
Okay, I'll wait.
yeah, it was the girl all along. On top of that, I was in the wrong bathroom.
The stall opens. It's gotten so much better.
Yeah. And then we embrace and now we're married.
Wow.
Wow.
With 3 children.
Yeah. And so then I'm back in the dorm, some time passes, and this kid who I'd like had a class with, but we hadn't really spoken to, but like had each other's number for some projects,
Yeah.
texts me and he's like, "Hey Danny, how soon is it?" And I like don't make the connection. And so I go,
Oh no.
I go, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Oh no.
And he goes,
Soon as what?
he goes, "Never mind, man. Haha, see you later." And so now he's
What if, okay, just hypothetical situation I feel like would have made this even better is if the project you're working on with him was due like tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so you just hit him with the very,
go
very
tomorrow.
soon.
Like in class. Like, when we get there.
well, so then I'm like, he's like, "All right, man, whatever, see you later."
yeah.
And then at like 3 a.m., I'm like half asleep
Click.
and my eyes shoot open.
Oh, no.
And I run down to his dorm and I'm like banging on it.
This is the very, very soon. It's no longer soon.
But it's no longer
It's-
smooth.
It's now.
nigh.
It's a very, very now.
It's now not banging on doors.
Well, and like, because again, in my panic, I'm like, this dude's gonna like think I'm gonna shoot up the school if I don't.
Yeah. So you
clarify this
better
now.
go pound on his
So I go
dorm.
banging
At
on
3
his door,
a.m.
and I'm like, "Josh, get out here!"
Oh my God.
This is not. I would be so panicked if I were Josh. I would be having
Panic
a mental breakdown.
Just under his bed, like
He's like,
wrapped in blankets.
lifting his feet.
I don't know
not
at
making
what
any noise.
point the panic has reached an all-time high, but it's not been zero for a while.
It
No.
just gets worse and worse. But then he finally, like, just a crack opens. He's like, "Hey, man, what's up?" Like, I just see an eye through the door.
Hey,
and
dude.
I'm like,
Hey, dude. What's up? What's going on?
And I'm just like, "So, you remember when I was practicing my S's?" And he's like, "No, I gotta go to bed, though." And I'm like, "I have to explain." And so then,
oh my God. So you
wrapping
just-
up, I explain. And now we're current roommates and best friends.
Wait,
Yeah.
like right now?
Yeah, big twist. He's my current roommate.
Big twist.
That-
Yes.
That was
Huge
a
twist.
beautiful, beautiful ending. That's a happy ending.
Crazy.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
Wouldn't expect that, huh?
Connected over S's. Smooth.
Yeah, it was a real smooth.
You really smoothed that one over.
Yeah, I was smooth. I know how to.
How many
introduce myself to
times
people.
can we
Say the
make
words.
smooth puns? So, okay. Now he's your
Yeah.
real life roommate.
Yeah, and we make films together.
See, that's a beautiful ending. Mine is just distant.
Yours is yet to end.
That's right.
But
it's
it
still
will
open.
soon.
Very.
Very,
very
very soon.
Wow. Good night, everybody.
What is okay? Follow up, I guess. Question.
Yeah.
So, obviously, Josh, it worked out well with him.
Yeah.
Did you ever ask him what he thought?
Yeah, he thought I was gonna shoot up the school. He was
Genuinely.
very afraid.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he was like terrified. He was like, I am never going to talk to this kid again. He was like, I'm gonna drop out of that class.
Oh,
He told me he
wow.
was gonna drop out.
Oh
Well, what? Because what year is this? How old are you? How old are we? What?
Because this was
19?
18, 19? Yeah,
Yeah.
sophomore year.
19 years old, and he was also a transfer student. So he gets to this new school
Well,
like
yeah.
a week in.
Yeah.
He's on the same floor as this lunatic.
Also, like I was saying, what year was that for you? And like,
Oh.
was it 2014,
2019.
15, 2019?
Yeah.
Okay. So also, I feel like as of late, we unfortunately have a lot of very detailed news and all of the stories of things. So
Yeah.
when you immediately are in that situation,
Yeah.
your brain just is going,
First thought.
oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you smoothed that
Yeah.
with Josh. The other follow up, what happened with the girlfriend?
Which that's like not even a story. It just faded out.
It just petered out.
yeah, it just petered out.
Yeah. So
She found
sent
someone
you,
who could say smooth a little smoother than I could.
Yeah. She sent you on this absolutely bizarre,
Journey.
panicked journey.
Yeah.
You know,
And then was like, all right,
Yeah.
bye.
And the next day
She was your
like,
manic pixie dream girl.
Yeah.
But she was a panic
Panic?
pixie dream girl.
Panic
Panic
pixie dream
pixie
girl?
dream?
Panic
Sick.
pixie dream. That was hard to say.
I like
Panic
that.
pixie
Yeah,
dream
the
girl.
next day she
Hard to
like
say.
introduced me to this new guy and she was like, hey,
His
check
name was
this
Steven
out.
Stallone.
Yeah, he's like, I'm Steven Stallone. Check this out. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
The
Try that,
street in
bitch.
Spain, in
Wow.
the street. I don't know how that one goes. There was a whole Foster's Home for
I know.
Imaginary Children episode about it, though.
Oh, I bet she sells seashells by the seashore is an absolute nightmare for you.
Do you remember?
It is.
That's
and
a
thank
nightmare
you
for
that.
me.
Do you remember?
And I'm sure I
Do you
can't-
remember your girlfriend's name at the time?
First and last
Yes.
name?
Victoria Mace.
Haha.
Very nice.
We were just hooking up. We weren't girl.
Oh,
If you were just
okay.
you were together. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do you want to? Feel free to say no to this. Do you want to stare to the camera and just Victoria Mace? She sells seashells by the seashore.
I'll say it
Very
if you
hard.
say it
It's
correct
very hard.
first.
She sells seashells by the seashore.
There you go.
Victoria Mace. She sells seashells by the seashore.
That was
Wow.
pretty dang good.
Yeah.
Really smooth.
Yeah,
really
thank you.
smooth.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I try. Ever since then, I have to.
Yeah.
You know, without Victoria Mace, maybe you wouldn't have done that, and maybe you wouldn't have gotten as close to Josh.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have had that little strange little bonding moment, and maybe you wouldn't be here today.
I would.
That's-
Who knows?
I would like
That's exactly it.
if you could.
I
Find,
would have been on the streets if it weren't for that moment.
Wow.
on the streets.
On the
Like
streets,
the
I wouldn't
fleet.
even be able to say it.
So if you could find for me when this episode comes out,
Yeah.
I'd like to if I could get a picture of you and Josh when you were in college.
Yeah.
And then
for
a
sure.
picture of you
Yes.
and Josh like now.
Yeah.
Cute.
100%.
Also, now feel free to also say no to this, but I feel like since both of you are in the creative space,
Mhm.
this could be done. It would be great if you could find like a public restroom and then you stand in front of the mirror and Josh sit on the toilet with the door open and then get that picture. So it's
See-
you and then so we could see what it was actually like. In that
Yeah.
moment.
I'll really paint a scene for you.
Yeah, he doesn't
Yeah.
have to pull his pants down, but
Or lift his feet.
or
Yeah.
lift his feet.
I was
Actually,
gonna
lifting his
say.
feet would be funnier.
That was the worst part. The second, like, the feet went up.
If he's
I
just
was
sitting
like-
in the fetal position on the toilet seat,
Yeah.
and then you're just staring angrily.
That's when
into
I
the
was
mirror.
like, the wheels are in motion. There's no backing out now. Like, he heard me. Like,
fantastic. Well, thank you guys for sharing those very fun stories.
yeah, thank
I
you for
enjoyed them a
forcing
lot.
us.
You know what? You're welcome.
Yeah.
This is how we learn.
Good time.
I bring up things like, "Hey, did you know you have a lisp?" And then that's how the story begins.
Uh-huh.
Before we sign off for the day, there's a segment that I am deciding to call "You're My Boy, Blue," and it's where you guys get to give a shout out to your favorite educator. So if you want to stare into your specific camera, we'll start with you, Michaela, and just want to shout out your favorite educator. It doesn't have to be a big thing, but you can say whatever you'd like.
Favorite educator.
Yeah.
I feel like there are. I'm very grateful because I have many, but
And this could include like voice
Yeah,
coaches
yeah,
and acting
yeah.
coaches.
no,
stuff too.
I do think though the most impactful. Yeah, I'm gonna have to shout out Miss Ryan, Miss Joanne Ryan. She was my math teacher for many years, and she made numbers fun and cool, and that is hard to do.
Wow.
I know. She's a G.
Good job, Ms. Ryan. Way to make numbers fun and cool.
Do you still like math, or was like the next teacher? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Big
no,
math
no,
person.
math was my thing. I was like
Math and Avril
pre-med
Lavigne.
for math and Avril Lavigne, baby. Yeah.
Avril Lavigne.
Math or
I
Lavigne.
almost did,
Whoa!
but I was like,
hold
I'll
up.
give it to you.
Hold up. Hold on.
Thanks for leaving that one for me.
Yeah, I was like, you're the host. It's his show.
Do you need a new stage name?
You know what?
Avril Lavigne.
Somewhere along the way here, something might just be happening.
You could be edgy and educational.
Educational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of new things are happening. See, Miss Ryan, look at these beautiful things that have happened because of you. Yeah, no, I really actually like math a lot. And she made it very understandable. I feel like that's the issue with a lot of people in math is like they just have terrible presentation and like the teachers don't care.
Yeah.
And if you have a teacher that cares and knows
other
how to
thing
like
is,
frame it differently.
It's not so much
yeah.
that the teachers don't care; they just don't have the time.
And resources
The
and
time
yeah.
and resources are
They're
a
not
big
paid
thing
enough
there.
to
We can't all go
properly
to
care.
Correct.
we can't all go to the Buckley School for Educated Youths or whatever you did. I don't know.
For educational math or Levines.
I'm really proud of.
I
what-
want you
what's
to at
just
least do
happened.
one tour through schools of you just like
Math or
kicking
Levine.
classroom doors down with a guitar.
Just the thigh
And
high
just screaming
Converse,
like math equations at
Yeah.
kids.
Pythagorean theorem and stuff. Just,
Hey, you, I
it's-
like algebra.
A squared B squared equals C squared.
There we go. I didn't know enough math to properly do
See, you can use a math or Levine.
Yeah,
The Math or
exactly.
Levine
I'll be there. I'll be at your first show.
And soon, very, very soon, schools across the nation are going to be wheeling in and then taking out the Bill Nye and putting in
Yeah.
Math or
Math or
Levine,
Levine, baby.
educational math.
Everybody
there.
gets a nano.
I can't wait for your like third show where like, all right, guys, nanos are really expensive. They don't make them anymore. No more free nano.
No more free nano. Yeah, it's cheaper to buy an actual iPhone.
iPhone that defined this.
Well, thank you for giving that a
Yeah.
shout out. Danny will hop over to you if you want to look into your camera and give a shout out to your favorite educator.
I would like to thank Gregory Cooksey for doing the same thing with like English as not like the English language, but like literature, you know?
He was your S coach.
Yeah, he was my S coach. Yeah. Didn't do dick for me when it comes to English. Yeah, made books fun and was also just like the most like boy meets world kind of
Yeah.
teacher where like you'd come in and just be like, oh man, like parent trouble, and he'd just know exactly
Like
what to
Mr.
say.
Feeney, is that
Yeah.
Yeah, real Mr.
Wow.
Feeney.
I was at a
type.
con with him last couple weeks ago. The real Mr.
So
Feeney.
cool.
I know.
Wow.
That's super cool.
You know, I think I needed a Gregory Cooksey because
Yeah.
I hated reading when I was a kid.
Oh,
But yeah, I was
So sad.
undiagnosed ADHD, and so I couldn't read
makes it
physical
tough.
books. But
Yeah.
I also got A's on tests, so they never tested me for anything. They were like, he's smart, he doesn't need help, and it was it was a little broken. So so having a guy that would have taught me that books can be fun would have gone. I read
Yeah.
one book my entire school career, and it was the
What?
second. Well, it was most of one book. I read most of One Flew the Cuckoo's Nest.
I like how you were like, what? And instead of being like, no, I read a few more, you were like, you know what, honestly,
It was
I didn't
honestly
even
like
read that
70% of one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an intense
crazy.
only book to have read.
But,
Not even
like-
like a Maze Runner or
I-
something.
Well, yeah, I read The Maze Runner recently.
Oh.
So because all these books that I didn't read in like when at the time I was supposed to, I just downloaded the audiobooks and I listened
that
to The
makes
Maze
sense.
Runner, the whole chronicles of it.
Okay, so you
recently.
listened to the things.
Now I do, but back
Okay.
then I didn't
No.
know that was a thing,
well, it
and I
wasn't
didn't
as
know.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know that I had the scratch and dent part of my brain that needed it.
Yeah. But it's funny because you're a creator. So I feel like I also got very easily distracted, but I loved the story. Like that kept me. It wasn't enough. Wasn't enough.
I would
Okay.
start playing my own story.
Well, yeah.
Well, okay, so technically I did read one other book, but it wasn't for school. Like my chemistry teacher, shout out Mr. Hernandez, he was like, this is a book I think you would like to read. And it was Ender's Game. but it took me a very, very
time.
long
Well,
time.
that's a thick book to also.
Well,
yeah.
the thing was, after I got through like the first, as soon as Ender got sent to space, I didn't put it down. But like the first like quarter of the book took me like 3 months to get through, and the last like 3/4 of the book I read in like 2 days.
Yeah.
Because I was like, now it's interesting. But
That's
like,
a great feeling though when you just fly through a book.
yeah.
Eventually.
The Percy
Eventually.
Jackson and the Olympians book, the last book came out the day that I finished the 4th book. And so I read it in 1 day.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
that's sick.
But like, again, none of that was for school.
No.
Right.
Like the only
They
school
count,
book I
though.
read,
If anything, they count more
Yeah.
than the ones you're forced
Yeah.
to read.
Yeah.
I guess, but like still, okay, well, if we're counting those,
Yeah.
5 books.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
But how many is the Percy Jackson series?
That's crazy. I don't
5.
know.
So 6 books.
Nice. All the
Wild.
Percy Jacksons, Ender's Game, and The One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah, most of one of
Yeah.
the
No
books.
one.
I read the last 20 pages of The Great Gatsby.
That's all.
That's the
you
only part of the book
technically
that
need.
needs.
Yeah.
Are you a big reader, Michaela?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's where this story happened. It was I don't know. I didn't love any book. And I would get very, very picky. But if I like read the first couple pages and I was like, yeah, I fuck with this, I would just go through it in like a couple days. Because see, my mom also was smart. She was like, you can go to bed anytime you want. You can stay up as late as you want, as long as you're reading. And I was like,
Yeah,
I was like,
I'd
okay,
be in bed.
I'm gonna stay up till 4 a.m. I'd bring like 10 books to bed and like stack them all next to me and be like, I'm gonna read all night and like fall asleep with the book on my face like 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
You're like
So,
10 years old
yeah.
with like 4 a.m. with a coffee and a cigarette, like just burning.
Reading the
through
last.
grapes of wrath.
yeah.
See flower.
Gosh.
I haven't heard that name.
In decades. Yeah, no. The day one read through was the 6th Harry Potter book when it came out. I got it and read it that day.
That's a thick one.
Yeah, that is.
I was pretty avid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Reader. Good times. Good times.
Good for you.
Thanks.
So that brings us to pretty much the end of this segment with you guys. So before I let you go, do you want to explain to the people how they can find you?
Explain to the people. Listen here, people. Yeah.
Hey, all you people.
I am on the socials. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, starting to do a little more YouTube.
Oh.
It's kind of thanks to this one over here, actually. Both of you, actually.
goodness.
These two, very helpful. I'm on Instagram as Michaela Mostly because it's mostly me. And then on TikTok, it's just my full regular name, Michaela Jill Murphy.
Do you
and
want
then,
to spell any of that?
yes, absolutely. So if you know how to spell, it's Michael with an A on the end and then the word mostly, but it's Michaela and then Mostly. And that's on Instagram and YouTube. And then my full name is then the Jill, Jill, Murphy, Murphy. There's a lot of letters.
That was way more
Yeah.
confusing than
Well,
you having just said it. Can
Yeah.
you do a graphic?
feel
maybe?
like-
Yeah,
Like,
it's
no,
just-
I could do that. But like the thing is, sometimes people like I feel like the only one you needed to spell there was Michaela.
Yeah.
Because there's like 3 or 4 different ways you can spell.
Yeah.
it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that's the only
main
reason
one.
I asked.
But you would be surprised. See, and then I get panicked because then people actually don't know how to spell the rest, and then they ask or then
Listen.
they look and it doesn't pop up.
If they can't spell Jill Murphy or mostly, they mostly don't need to
I
find
feel
your
like
socials.
Murphy might trip people up. Is it EY or Y?
Yeah,
you
and
know?
people add an F sometimes.
An F?
Yep.
You don't want those people.
Well, that's
subscribing
called
to you.
Listen.
failing.
Yeah, they're wasted on you.
Yeah, it's a time. But yeah, that's where you can find me. Where can we find you, Danny?
Well, you can find me on the latest lithograph. You can find me on TikTok as DMotta3, DMOTTA. And then on YouTube as just my name, Danny Motta. And then Instagram as DMO and then 3 T's.
See, that's
They're-
so much easier to spell.
It'd
they're
be
all-
even easier if you just had one.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
I know. That's the issue.
Mine's Ben_Brainerd.
Yep.
Everything.
Everything.
Well, Michaela Mostly's taken on TikTok now, and so I
Buy
could
it.
put like a period. I tried to like, can
Well,
I just kick off the other person who
you
has
should
it?
no. You should
How do
change
I
the
do
others
that?
to Michaela Jill Murphy.
It's so long.
Okay,
It's
but
so long
that's
to
your
like
name.
write and print. I know, but like people, it's hard to find. Like when people look up things that, like, I feel like I should just make everything like purple M13. No, just
You're branding. Who are you?
I'm Michaela.
Look, you're,
Mostly or Jill Murphy?
Jill Murphy.
you're entirely correct.
Yes.
I ran into the problem of where I was like, oh, well, like, my TikTok is big now and it's DMotta3. so it's too late to change that one
What's
to my
the
name.
Motta with
Then-
Motta 3 is kind of cool with the other ones.
Motta 3 sounds fine.
Yeah.
Like, that flows.
I know. Well, now they're all like decent sized, and so I'm like afraid to change any of them.
Ah.
You know? I know I should, because this interaction is the worst every time.
Yeah. Well, anyway, thank you guys so
So
much
yeah,
for
that's,
coming on the
that's us.
podcast. I appreciate it. Everyone say bye.
Bye.
All the cameras.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for sticking around for that episode. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I did. I know Danny's story got a little out there is one phrase for it. I had a lot of fun listening to it, so I hope you did too. Before we sign off and say goodbye for the week, though, we do have PodClass President merch available. If you want some mugs or hoodies or shirts, check out benbrainerd.com. Everything is going to be available on my website. You can buy some PodClass President merch. PodClass President now has new individual socials. It's not just shared on my stuff. So make sure you check out PodClass President on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and Foursquare and MySpace and LinkedIn. All of it. We also have a Patreon. So if you want to support myself or the podcast, it's all one Patreon. So check out Ben Brainerd on Patreon if you want to support the podcast. $3 a month is the cheapest one. You get all of my content, including the podcast, a day early. That really goes a long way to help me continue to be able to do this. We have a Discord as well if you want to hop into our little community. So check out, go to benbrainerd.com. The Discord link is there. And of course, if you want to submit a school story to be read live on the podcast, you can email the podcast at podprez@benbrainerd.com. Again, send your school stories to podprez@benbrainerd.com, and maybe it'll be read on the podcast. That's all for this week. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Bye.